Oh, he got it wrong. He got it wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Spalletti, Tinkerman, Italian hipster. He got it wrong. Before the video, okay, we have a lot to talk about, guys. We have a lot to talk about. If there's one game throughout the season where I'm going to try and remain calm in this video, I am not losing my shit, okay? If there's one game throughout the season where you want to change the formation, you want to maybe play players in a different position, change your principles, I'll tell you, Mr. Tinkerman, Coppa Italia. Do you know why? Because if Juventus got knocked out of Coppa Italia, yeah, people would have been upset, but they wouldn't have given too much of a shit in comparison to losing to Napoli. Do you see what I mean? For you to roll the dice and change the entire system, to change the formation, by the way, a formation which finally started to work. I said it. Juve Udinese in the Coppa Italia, it was their best performance. Fair enough, there was a lot of rotation, but players were beginning to understand their roles. Kenan was there. Zegrova came onto the field. He looked good. Moretti looked good. Jonathan David probably had his best performance in a Juve top. And guess what? Guess how he got rewarded? Spalletti looked at him and said, "Well done, mate. That was a good performance. Now go warm up that bench in Naples." I just don't get it. I'm gonna stay calm. Let's just talk about the first goal. When you look at the first goal, I'm gonna be real. Cabal, I petition a lot for you to start, but there's no way in hell you're gonna try and take me to be a dickhead and tell me that in the 6th minute you're tired. Don't tell me in the 6th minute you're tired. I've watched this goal back like 3-4 times, and he is jogging back. He is jogging back. Now, brother, don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. I'm not expecting you to be Sonic the Hedgehog and just sprint full pelt every single time. I understand you're human. You're not a robot, yeah? You know where the problem is? You leave Cup Miners 1v1 in isolation with probably a winger that would beat any player in the Serie A in Neres, especially the fact that he's on form at the moment. Now, today was like a perfect example as to why Cup Miners as a left-sided centre-back, it works on some days and it doesn't work on others. When Juve are, for example, just sitting back in their 5-2-3 shape, cross after cross after cross, block after interception, Cup Miners is decent. When it comes to playing out of the back in games like against Lecce, when they have 70% of the ball, Cup Miners is good. But when you're coming up against fast, tricky wingers that are going to show intent and take the ball to you, brother, this dude doesn't have the recovery pace. He doesn't have the aggression. He's not the most mobile. And I was looking at Cabal and I was like, there's no way you leave him 1v1 with Neres. There's no way in hell you leave him 1v1 with Neres. You know what was crazy? Early, a few minutes later in the first half, Cup Miners and Cabal both went for Neres and he sat both of them on their arse. My point is, Cabal, I'll be real, bro. On the 6th minute, I'm watching you jog back. It was just a calamity of a goal. Do you guys want to see it again? Let's watch it again. It's just a calamity of a goal. Lloyd Kelly, how on God's earth is Rasmus Højlund, without a doubt, the worst striker I've ever watched in my life? How on God's earth does Højlund get in front of you as a defender? Listen, I ain't no bloody coach. I ain't going to sit down and teach you how to defend, how to position your body, how to anticipate danger. That's not my job. How does he get right in front of you? How does he, like, do you not have wing mirrors? Do you not scan the field? Do you not see an incoming run? Brother, just position yourself in front of him. If you can't position yourself in front of him, make sure you get the ball before him. And he didn't. Anyways, that was the first goal. I need to calm down. Let's just talk about this nonsense of a 3-5-2. Do not get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. Listen, I'm all for Italian hipsters. I'm all for them. My point is, if you're going to roll the dice, do not roll the dice away from home to Napoli. Do not roll the dice. Do it in Coppa Italia. Do it against Lecce. Do it against Cagliari. Brother, do it against Genoa, Torino. Do it against whoever. You don't do it away from home against the team where they can punish you if your system doesn't work. And did it work? Oh, hell no. It didn't work. Let me explain. Look at it. It's just like what? It became like a 5-3-2. McKennie was dropping into midfield, and then you got Kenan Yildiz and Conceicao. Don't get me wrong. I admire the idea, but the problem is he misprofiled the life out of, one, the best player in the team in Kenan Yildiz, and two, Conceicao. Bro, Conceicao needs space and time. Like, Conceicao just needs space to run into, to drive to. When you put both of them centrally, both of them are automatically going to start dropping deep to receive the ball. Next thing you know, this happens. Like, you know, if I was Rahmani or Bongiorno or Bukama on the field, I'd be just sat licking my lips. I'd be like, yeah, Yeah, life is good because whenever these dudes drop deep, I'm just gonna follow them up and apply pressure from behind. And every single time the ball is fed into them, I'm just gonna take it off them to make matters worse. Okay, just to make matters worse. Yeah. When they keep dropping deep, and you've already got three midfielders, and then you've got five defenders who are just standing there for decoration. Look at how congested the center of the field comes. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of the best teams that play the 5-3-2, when the center gets congested, they've got Mario and Luigi on their cars in Mario Kart as wingbacks, yeah? And they are bombing forward, yeah? Listen, I hate to use this team as an example because it's a Juve video, but for example, you look at Inter. When they congest the center, and then you've got Hakan, Barella, Zielinski, Marcus Thuram, Lautaro Martinez all dropping in. Brother, you think DeMarco and Dumfries are standing line in line with them, side by side, like the Unsullied from Game of Thrones? No, they're not. They're gone. They are gone, bro, because they know we're going to drag the opposition into the centre, and all it takes is for Hakan to ping it into the channel. DeMarco is in. Dumfries is in. Who's the new bloke? Luis Enrique, Andy Diouf. My point is, Juve don't have those wing backs. Juve don't have those wing backs. Cambiasso, I'll be real, bro. You might as well become a photographer, a lifeguard. I don't know. Go open up a restaurant in Turin. For as far as I care, he's been catastrophic. He's being catastrophic. You play him on the left, he's catastrophic. You play him on the right, he's catastrophic. Like he's there for decoration. I'm gonna be real. Like Cambiasso, for me, besides I think he scored on like Spalletti's first game, he is just there for vibes, bro. He's just showing everybody his haircut, showing everybody the nice little silky trim. Maybe he's got himself some new boots. I don't know. But he offers nothing. He offers nothing in build-up. He offers nothing in ball progression. He offers nothing in the final third. Like defensively, he's not the best. Cabal, not the best of performances. Kostic comes onto the field and he genuinely looks like a player that one, doesn't want to be there, and two, I don't know, maybe like somebody's told him, like, even if you play out of your skin and you give 100% every single game, there's no chance in hell your contract being renewed or something. Or has it been renewed? I don't know, guys. Like, I've forgotten. My point is, he comes onto the field with no intensity, no aggression. Once again, he's just there to show us his haircut. Applies minimal pressure to the cross coming into the box. Like, let's be real. When the game is 1-1 and both teams are tired and both teams are fatigued, there's only two ways they're going to score. Either one from a counter-attack or two from a cross. You should never ever let them get across into the box, especially when you bear in mind they've got Højlund, they've got McTominay, the MVP of the Serie A. How, like, I don't understand. Both goals came from Juve's left-hand side, and one was Cabal in the first half, and two, it was his substitute in the second half in Kostic. Have I remained calm? I think I've remained calm. I think I've done a really good job. My point is, it's just these players, like, the 5-3-2 didn't work, and it mainly didn't work because, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with the 5-3-2. It comes down to the profiles you utilize in the 5-3-2. The back five is the back five. We can't speak about it. January is in a month. Let's see what Juve do. The midfield, I have no problem. Like, don't get me wrong. That 5-3-2, the trio in midfield, I had no problem with it. Not in terms of their performances, but I mean, as players from Locatelli, McKennie, and Thuram. Thuram really needs to step it up. I'm going to be real, guys. I think he's been piss poor the whole season. Thuram, for me, is being piss poor. You hardly see that bulldozer ball carrying that he was doing all of last season. You hardly see him get involved in the final third. You hardly see that X factor. Like, so many times today, he was receiving the ball, and I'm like, brother, just turn and carry, turn and carry. There's space. You will eat these dudes alive with your physicality. No intensity. It's like he's always looking to pass the ball backwards. I don't know what it is. And I'm not really going to blame Spalletti for Thuram's form, because Thuram wasn't great under Tudor, and he hasn't been great under Spalletti. I don't know what it is. My point is, you probably put the least physical players to play as a duo in attack. And what I mean by physical, I mean in terms of sheer upper body strength holding up the ball. These guys don't want to be used as lampposts, yeah? They don't want to be used as players where you just fizz them the ball and they have to hold it up. No, bro. They want it in the channels. They want it in space in behind. If you want to play a bloody 5-3-2, it's a split striker system, okay? Once again, if one drops, the other one goes in behind. If the other one goes in behind, he will automatically drag a centre back with him. So that means your partner that's now dropped in is not going to have three players up his arse. He might have one or two maximum. And if he's good at holding up the ball, he will do a pretty good job. Do you see what I mean? my point is, he probably put the two least physical players down the center. And you know what it is? It's pretty ironic, the fact that he changed it straight away in the second half. So when I'm looking at this game, I'm thinking the system that worked against Udinese, the system that paid dividends against Udinese, the style of play which had Juve playing their best of football, the player who you could seriously make a case was man of the match against Udinese in terms of how good he was at holding up the ball, bringing others into the game. That dude was on the bench in Jonathan David. You roll the dice on a formation. Fair enough. Maybe he wanted to catch Conte off guard. Brother, you did not catch him off guard. Conte uppercutted you back to Turin. Yeah, that's what he done. He uppercutted you back to Turin. My point is, I'm just out of energy. I'll be real. I'm just out of energy. You want to look at the Kenan Yildiz goal? It was a lovely goal. I'll be real. It was genuinely a lovely goal. It's such a shame that I've left it towards the end. Lovely give and go. Like, you see this whole giving and going, dragging players, 1-2s, flicks around the corners. That's what we saw against Udinese. And today, we only saw it twice. We saw it once for the Kenan Yildiz goal and 2 for the Zegrova shot towards the end of the game. I don't understand why he changed it. I genuinely don't understand why he changed it. If you wanted to change it, put the correct profiles. Oh, I'll be real. You want to play 5-3-2? You go Openda and David. You go Openda and David. Yeah, that's what you do. Worst case. No, it makes the most sense. Openda comes from a 2-striker system at RB Leipzig. Jonathan David, when he won the Ligue 1 with Lille, he played in a 2-striker system. Him and Burak Yilmaz, you roll the dice on them too. Now, would he do that? No, because it means Conceicao and Yildiz drop to the bench. I understand that. So if that's the case, don't change the system. I don't know. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the system can never ever work, but give it some time to marinate. Maybe play it in games where, you know, even if it doesn't work, there's still enough quality in the tank to get the job over the line. When you're coming up against Conte in Naples, that atmosphere, knowing your team's got such a fragile mentality, you need everything in your favor, from aggression, intensity, tactics, starting 11, in-game management, substitutions, everything. I tell you, it just wasn't the case. It genuinely wasn't the case. It was a perfect game for Juve to win when you bear in mind Bologna dropped points, Como dropped points, Roma dropped points. Every single team around them that's like fighting for similar honors as them dropped points. And this was the game where I was like, if you win, you're back within touching distance of every single one of these teams. They didn't win. Now they got who? Paphos, like in Champions League. I'd love to see what he does. I genuinely love to see what he does now. Does he go to 3-5-2 or does he go back to the 3-4-3 and put up his hand and say, hey guys, I've learned my lesson. I got it wrong, but can't really go back in time, can we? But yeah, I don't know. Like, here's just the final Napoli goal. Actually, no, we discussed it earlier. Look at this, man. Old age is catching up to me, man. We've already discussed the second goal. Make sure to like. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure you guys have a great week ahead. Catch you on another one.